morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time y'all are watching this video, you out there in YouTube land. It's your boy Robbie and I'm back to react to another video. This one is going to be coming from the YouTube channel Sandra Faye. More Americans are choosing hotels over apartments. Yo, it's really tough out here trying to find a job. And now that is now trickling over to having an apartment. And what you have to ultimately pay for an apartment, people are just like, yo, I'd rather go stay in a hotel. You know what I'm saying? They pay for all, I got everything I need. I don't got to worry about electricity and all that. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Let's not waste no time. No, let's get to this video. Let's see what's up.
Hotel apartments.
There are an enormous amount of people who are living in hotels. Entire families living in a room. They're buying full-on groceries, living in a room. And the entire hotel looks like it is inhabited by families.
This is the hotel that I reserved from November 17th, 2025 till May 17th, 2026, which is a total of 6 months, and it's gonna cost me $8,094.14.
A lot of people want to pay a security deposit, first and last month's rent. All you need to do is hand them your money, check in, and you get your keys. You don't have to do a background check, credit check. You can get housekeeping every week if you choose to. You get to pay weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. You don't have to pay any.
So hotels is the new flex now. I mean, look, get it how you live. I'm not knocking you. You know what I'm saying? Do what you got to do. But it's crazy to think that in 2026, yo, that living in a hotel is really the flex. And everything that he's naming off are things that you have to check off before you can get an apartment. You know what I mean? You know, I guess. Let's continue.
Utilities, Wi-Fi, trash, gas, electric, water, everything's included. A lot of smaller
That's
cities,
true.
they're
You do
really
get
cheaper.
Wi-Fi.
Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel.
I mean, I know it's early, but all I hear is pros in this situation. I mean, I'm sure there's cons, and we're going to go through them, but yeah.
And share the video. You can support uncensored conversations via Cash App or buying your girl a coffee. Hey y'all, I just want to pop in here and have a conversation about how bad the economy is. Living in a hotel isn't something new. I don't want to make it seem like this is something that just started happening all of a sudden now. People have been doing this for a while. However, it's really ramped up, and honestly, I think that this is going to be a really good video if you are one of those people that are struggling to find a place to live. You have enough money to pay like a lower end rent, but the demand for 3 times the rent in your paycheck and all this other stuff, all these other stipulations that come with trying to find an apartment, this might actually be something that you would want to look into, and it could potentially set you up to save a lot of money. So we're going to be talking about folks that are living in hotels.
Okay.
I'm going to be honest with y'all. Justin and I, we did consider this. If you guys didn't know, we are in the process of waiting for our house to be built. We were looking at different apartments for that in-between time because we needed about 3.5 months of a place to stay.
I mean, yo, if you got family like your mom, your dad, aunties, uncles that got a house and they got the space, I would just go and do that instead. I couldn't, like me personally, I couldn't do an apartment. Like even right now, y'all see this setup. I couldn't have this in no apartment. Not apartment. My bad, y'all. A hotel. I'm saying an apartment, a hotel. I couldn't do that. You know what I mean? Like just the worry of somebody stealing whatever it is that I have, I couldn't do that. Nah. I mean, but you got to do what you got to do. I get it.
Girls, we're going to be homeless for about 3.5 months while we're waiting for our home to be built. I was looking at apartments, and y'all, they want to charge you outrageous amounts of money if you want to have a shorter lease. That blew my mind. I'm like, okay, I'm seeing the different leases here. I'm like, okay, we could do $1,700 a month. We could do $1,800 a month. But the moment I put in how short of a stay we needed, boom, $3,500. The same apartment, but they want you to pay $3,500 because you want to stay there for a short amount of time. I was like, oh, hell to the no. Absolutely not. Y'all got us messed up. I did, for a brief moment, consider, okay, maybe it'd be cheaper to go to one of these little extended stays and extend our stay. Now, luckily, we were able to stay with some family members, and that has been such a blessing. But for some people,
I'm going to tell you though, the people, the government, and even some of these like privately owned companies, they're watching this stuff. They're seeing that people are finding a life hack with living in motels and hotels. They're not going to like this. But what do y'all expect? So they're going to try to find a way to get laws passed to where people can't keep doing this type of stuff. Like, they're going to try to force you into a corner where you have to get an apartment because they want that money. They don't want the hotels to get it. They're going to try to get laws passed to get this ban. I see it now. We already know how they move.
People, they don't have that type of support system. For some people, they don't have like grandparents or great grandparents or parents that they can rely on, or brothers and sisters, all sorts of friends. Some people just don't have a support system that can back them up when they're in a predicament similar to what we're in, or worse situations. Some people have gotten real clever. Okay, they've gotten real clever and they found some pretty decent apartment style hotels where you can have like damn near a full fridge, like a big old regular size fridge, maybe even a hot plates. Most likely you're not going to have an oven, but I mean, if you have an air fryer, then you don't really need an oven. They have been making it work. I wanted to talk about this because the economy.
It's crazy to think that this is going on in the United States of America. I mean, not everywhere is perfect, but they say we live in the greatest country in the world, the land of opportunity. You are what you can make it here. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Like I said, you come here, keep your head down and, grind it out. You can have something. And yet people are out here living out of hotels because they can't afford an apartment. And they'll be quick to say, nobody owes you nothing. Nobody owes you a job. But well, what the hell are people supposed to be out here doing then? Robbing and stealing? You know what I mean? You already kind of prohibit people from being able to grow their own food if they have a house and they have a backyard. You tell them they can't grow food, they got to pay HOA, they can't mow their own lawn. Then you move them into an apartment, like a 2x2, a 4x4 cell, jail cell in a way. And I don't mean to say that apartments are bad, because I live in an apartment. But my point is, you say that nobody owes you nothing here. Well, then what the hell are we supposed to be doing if nobody owes us nothing? Okay, so then does that mean I can just go ahead and bounce and leave this country and go live off the grid and not pay your taxes? Because y'all need tax money. You need taxpayers in order to fund the government or keep this whole fictitious thing going. Like, what? This is weird.
It's gotten bad, and maybe you found yourself in a situation. You're trying to figure out something that you can do in the meantime, between time, till you figure things out. This could be a viable option for you. So this video is not me trying to dunk on people living in hotels. No, shout out to y'all, because y'all found a real life hack.
This is the hotel that I reserved from November 17th, 2025 till May 17th, 2026, which is a total of 6 months, and it's going to cost me $8,094.14.
Okay, so let's do the math on that real quick, y'all. Let me grab a calculator real quick, because now I'm curious. How much is she actually spending? All right, so if she's paying $8,094.14, divide that by 6 months. So she's paying $1,349.02. I mean, I don't really see where she's saving though, because that's about what it would cost you for a 1-bedroom, depending on where you live in. Like in the metro Atlanta area, that's about as much as a 1-bedroom. And that's what you're getting at a hotel, a bedroom. But the thing is, you're not getting a full-on fridge or stove. Now, she did say that there are some that do give you that, but I don't really see where she's saving. I guess it really just depends. You got to probably be in the slummest of slums, living out of that type of hotel that's only charging you, I don't know, probably like $200 a week or something like that. But yeah, let's keep going, y'all.
No, I do not have to pay all that up front. I can either pay $307 a week, or I can pay the $1,228 a month. You can even pay every 2 weeks. It really is up to you.
I mean, if you look at it like that, if you can pay weekly or whatever, but it's like at that point, you might as well just go ahead and get an apartment then, because you got to pay that at the end of the month or at the beginning of the month. It's already paid if you got a job. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Total amount is your total amount. I'm going to take y'all inside my room.
All right, let's see what you got going on. Let's see.
This is
Okay.
inside of our room, and what we get inside of here for that amount
It's a bit crowded, but okay. They're making it work.
is say hey to hubby. Also, we have the full-size refrigerator and freezer. It came with the microwave. It also came with the 2-eye stove burner here. We brought our own coffee pot and some extra items over here.
Honestly, this is almost kind of like New York City living. You know, I'm from New York, so I've seen this plenty of times. So basically, this is what you would get if you were living in New York, but they would be charging you an arm and a goddamn leg for something like this in Manhattan or whatever. And y'all all know. So they kind of getting off with this in that regard. And I guess, like she said, you can pay it in portions. You don't got to pay it all up front. I mean, I guess that's cool. But you know what's going to end up happening? Like I said, these apartment complexes, they are going to try to either get laws passed to kind of like ban this type of stuff, or they may actually start giving people the option to pay in this way that have apartments. That's going to totally change the game, because again, hotels are meant for people who are passing through, going to another city, and they just need to rest up and they need to like get a room or whatever till they get where they got to go, or if they're vacationing. It's not meant for this. It's not meant for people to be living out of it. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem. They need to fix that.
It does come with a full-size bathroom, shower, pretty nice size. And of course, it's all about how you make it, but this is what we are doing. Pretty much so we can like save up money, get a piece of land, and actually start paying on something that's ours.
When I was younger, I always thought that hotels were just for vacation. I thought that hotels were just
Right.
for a brief stay, you know, maybe a work trip. Maybe you had to go out of town for work for a month and then you would have the extended stay for that. But now, for a lot of Americans, it has become the only housing option that they qualify for. And this is the part that I really want to talk about. We all know the rent is astronomical.
crazy.
We already know
It's
that.
crazy.
But it's not just that the rent might be high. You also need excellent credit, rental history, oh my God, let me get to the application fees, income requirements, background checks, all sorts of stuff. I understand it because you want to keep out the riffraff, but this also affects those people that are genuinely trying to get their lives together and they want to
Yeah.
be in a safe area and they have enough money to pay the rent. Okay, they have enough money to pay the rent, but they might not have 3 times the rent. Okay, maybe they have just 2. Or maybe, you know, they did have a rough time and their credit is a bit jacked up, but they're in the process of fixing it. It gets to a point
Right. I mean,
where
I guess they
it's
like,
just,
look,
it's too
we'll give you a chance to fix it, but you're not going to live here and do it. You know what I mean? That's probably what they're thinking. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, y'all. I need to. My auto pay is on. Hold up. August 10th. I'm gonna select other amount. We're gonna do $100. I'm sorry, y'all. Funny, she's talking about this, and I'm actually setting up a payment to pay on my credit card. I have one credit card, just one, and I never go over my 30% limit. All right, let's continue.
much. It's too much. You're keeping out good, well-to-do people in an effort to keep out the riffraff.
A lot of complexes and landlords have made it so hard to get housing that people don't even know what the bare minimum requires without the bad credit, without the evictions, without the bad rental history. Not making 3 times the rent. You must make 3 times the rent. And a lot of people don't know how to truly calculate this before they go and spend their money on application fees, all that good stuff. The average person isn't even making over $24 an hour. But if you are making $24 an hour and working 80 hours, that's 160 hours in a month. Now, when you do the math on that gross income, you're making roughly $3,800 a month, which means.
But what you netting though, after taxes, Social Security, dental, medical, vision, because you need to have that. Yeah. And then what do you really, what's your take home?
You have to find an apartment with base rent that's about $1,200 or less. $1,200 base rent times 3 is going to put you at about $3,600. Literally. And this is where they void out and deny a lot of you because you think you make 3 times the rent, but you really don't. By the time they tack on their fees and all of that good stuff that's built into the base rent sometimes, you've already been denied and wasted your money on an apartment that you can't get approved for.
This is why the way things are set up now, the landscape, you got to have damn near two people, two incomes in order for you to get an apartment nowadays. It's got to be two combined incomes, and either both parties or one of the parties have to have excellent credit in order for y'all to get a place to live. You know what I mean? It's kind of sad in a way, but these are the things that they don't teach us when we're in school. They fill our heads with a bunch of nonsense, the Great Gatsby and Oedipus Rex and all this that ain't gonna matter when you get out here in the real world. Unless you are gonna be someone who's an English major and you're gonna be writing novels or writing movie scripts and making a shit ton of money doing that, that's not the majority of most people. You feel me? So we need to be learning these essential things while we're in school, credit and things like that, but they'd rather us be dumb to this stuff because it helps their bottom line.
Right after that is if you make 3 times the rent, proven legitimate income. Most of the people today, I realize, don't actually have legit jobs. They just know how to make money. That's cool and all when you think about the fact of they'll get their money either way. When you look at the 2 important C's of credit, character and capacity, 2 different things. Your character is you wanting to pay them their money, you knowing that you have to pay where you lay. The second C is capacity. Can you actually pay what you owe when it's time to pay? And a lot of times these people with these businesses and I sell products and I do this on the side, it's not guaranteed money. Without pay subs.
It's really not. And they'll tell you in a heartbeat, yo, you got to have more than one hustle. You got to have 3, 4, 5 hustles going on. Well, out of all of those hustles, maybe only one of them is stable. The rest of those hustles that you got going on, it's a maybe. You may make a lot of money this month. You may not. You feel me? Because they've centered your entire existence in this country around having a job, having a job. A job has always been the have-all, be-all. You get your 401k or pension, depending on who you work for. You get these benefits. You get this many amount of days of vacation. You get this much pay. It's been the epicenter for everybody. And y'all are taking that away, but you haven't put anything in place that's just as secure for people. And you'll be quick to say, there's people out there, a lot of conservatives, and I've said this in one of my other videos, that'll say, nobody owes you nothing. Nobody owes you a job. Okay, fair enough. So then that means that you shouldn't come at me any kind of way if I don't pay taxes or if I don't want to do things the way that they say we should do it, because the only way to essentially get by or make it in this country is if, for the most part, you have a job. Everybody can't be a boss. Everybody can't be an entrepreneur. It's not possible. If we got millions and millions of people selling hair products, you know what I'm saying? Like, think about that. So what do you expect people to do? What we should have actually been doing while we were in school, they should have been teaching us agricultural skills, learning how to grow our own foods, learning how to be true sentient beings and living on our own, learning how to use our hands for real.
Tax requirements, business docs, they don't believe you make legit income.
These application fees are ridiculous. When Justin and I were looking around for apartments where we could stay in, I was also examining these damn application fees. $85. What you mean to tell me you want me to give you $85 so you can tell me, nah, we don't want you staying here? Like, how much money are y'all pocketing off of application fees? Now, I understand that some of it goes towards, running the background check, but then they also have other fees, administrative fees, like fees that kick in before you're even accepted into the apartment, let alone the fees that they give you for moving in, even though they don't give you no damn help for moving in. They're not going to help you situate your...
See, this be my thing. Y'all see this, right? They got a pet, obviously. I'm not living in no hotel with no damn pet. That pet would have to go. I don't mean to, upset the dog owners, cat owners, pet owners out there. If you got a legitimate setup, cool. But I'm speaking to this. This here, no. And then you got dog food all up. No. No, I couldn't do it.
Furniture in your apartment. They're not going to help open the door for you, help you carry in all your boxes. No, but they want a move-in fee. They want a move-in fee. They want a fee for this, a fee for that, administrative fee, all these different fees. But that application fee is the one that pisses me off the most, because what you mean? You're going to take my money just so you can say, no, No, but we're going to keep the money that you gave us. It's a damn mess.
Yeah, that's
so
messed
imagine you're going around and you're applying for multiple
And they're
apartments.
keeping your
You might be
application
out
money?
$500. Depending on how many apartments you've applied to, you might be out about $500 before you even find a place that's willing to accept you. So that is also an extreme burden on our pockets when it comes to trying to find a place to live. It's gate kept so much that you're keeping out good people. And yes, you might be able to keep out the riffraff too, but what about the folks that are actually trying, that have good intentions?
It's a nice community right here.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. How can I help?
Good, good. Look, I'm just here to get a 1-bedroom apartment.
Okay,
Just see if
okay.
you had anything available?
Absolutely. How soon are you looking to move?
I'm looking to move next week, if possible.
Okay, next week. All right, let's see what we got.
All right. Nice little plant right there.
All right. Is there anything specific you were looking for your apartment?
Yes. I mean, something slight. What are your prices?
Well, we starting at 1,800. Yeah, 470 square feet.
Yeah, right.
No, that's just for the studio. The 1-bedrooms are 3,500.
To
Oh,
Yeah, and those are like
3,500 out here. You actually would be in the city. For that, you might as well go live in the city. Get you like some nice in Atlanta, in Midtown, if you're gonna be paying 3,500. You know what I'm saying? You best off going on the outskirts, like your Lithonias, Lithia Springs, Conyers is good, and living out that way. You'll pay a lot less. Yeah, you got to drive. You're gonna need a car, but you got you a vehicle. There's nowhere you can't go if you got a car. Preferably one that's paid for. I understand some people got car notes, but hey, get that shit paid off as fast as you can. You know what I'm saying? That's one bill you do not need. But yeah, that's a lot. Remember, like, I would say almost 10, 11, 12 years ago, it used to be so easy to get an apartment. We talking, I mean, for me, I got my first apartment in 2017 before all hell broke loose in this world. But in 2017, I was working at Home Depot, y'all, taking phone calls, making, I'd say about 15 an hour. I'm not ashamed to say that. But I didn't have no kid neither. I was single, no kid, I had a paid for Acura. I was doing all right. And all you had to do back then, you could finesse a couple paychecks, say you make this much, and they wasn't doing all of this background checking and nothing like that. And I had a 2-bedroom. I still got a picture of one of my invoices for my rent. It was $925, 2-bedroom. I was on the top floor with a terrace. Okay, that included my water, and I had valet trash for $925. Now I know, looking at that, it's like, damn, that's pretty good. But keep in mind, I was making $15 an hour. So the reason why I didn't really feel it all that much is because I didn't have a car note, and my insurance was cheap for my car. Insurance was cheaper back then too. I was paying like $160 for liability insurance a month. That wasn't that bad. So I made it work. And, I didn't really eat out like that. I would budget. I had my little Fire Stick or whatever. So it wasn't no movie I couldn't watch, no show I couldn't watch. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know. So yeah, it was so much easier back then compared to now, man. It's crazy.
150 square feet.
Like, we didn't feel it all that much back then because we had other life hacks. We had other ways to make it work. We wasn't out here, with all of this stuff that we got now. Now everything is just, Instagram was not basically an app that was selling you stuff all day long. It was about making content. Now you go in there, they selling you stuff. You go anywhere on the internet, no corner of the internet where you go that you can go to where they're not trying to sell you some shit.
Never mind.
Yeah, I can take you to see one right now if you're interested. Want to go see one right now?
Y'all got 1-bedrooms going for $1,800?
The studio.
And the crazy thing about it is some of these hotels are actually way cheaper than the rent you would have been paying for an actual apartment. Now, granted, the space is much smaller. So maybe if we do like the cost per square footage, then yeah, it would be more expensive. But if you're able to squeeze yourself into that smaller space and make it work, I mean, you're saving money. At the end of the day, you might have smaller space to work with, but you're saving money. You might run into a hotel where they might want want like $1,500 for an entire month, $1,700 for an entire month. But guess what you're not paying? You're also not paying the water bill. You're not paying the electric bill. And if they got complimentary breakfast on top of that, you're not paying for breakfast. It really does have its like checks and balances. Yes, if you are going to be living in a hotel, you got to work with a much smaller space. To be honest, if you found yourself in a situation where you can't get an apartment to rent, waiting for Section 8 is going to take forever and a day, you have no support system, I mean, beggars can't be choosers.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you've exhausted all options, yeah, absolutely. Do what you got to do. Hopefully you don't have a bunch of kids. Maybe it's just you and your significant other, or maybe it's just you and you can make that work. I'm all for it. It's a cool life hack. You know what I'm saying? If you're in an area where it's not all that bad, it ain't a bunch of riffraff and everybody there is respectable and they have complimentary breakfast, like you said, hey, take advantage of that. I do know that this is something that's eventually going to get the attention of the government and all of these privately owned companies that own all these apartment complexes. And when they realize that they can't keep people in there, or people are just opting not to get an apartment anymore and they're going the hotel route, they're going to be shivering in their boots at some point, because more and more people are going to adopt this ideology. Like, look, let me just go and get a hotel and I don't have to worry about all of those extra fees that get tacked on when I'm trying to get an apartment or living in an apartment, you know?
Let's keep it a buck here. When you are in a bind, a hotel is still going to be better than having to live on your car or be on the side of the street. So
Facts.
yes, you might have to deal with having a much smaller space, but also you don't have to worry about paying water. You don't have to worry about paying electric. It's pretty relatively safe depending on where you're at. Yeah,
part.
let's be so for real here. You have to take what you can get when you're in these type of predicaments.
My family is living in a hotel, and by the end of this video, you either gonna love me or hate me, so stick around and hear my story. So last year, my husband lost his job. We had to use all of our savings to stay on top of bills, and we still ended up getting 2 months behind because it's so hard to find a job in this economy. So fast forward to the beginning of this year in February, we got our taxes back, and we went ahead and paid those past due bills. So me and my husband were talking one night, and we were like, why we stay in this dangerous ass city where we hear sirens every hour and our kids can't even play outside because they might get hit by a stray. On top of that, I was so depressed in that city for literal years, and one day I was just like, we don't have to stay here. This is just where we were placed.
Like
One thing about me, I'm smart enough to know that being broke, depressed, and staying in a dangerous city is a recipe for disaster, especially as a mom, because if I'm not good, my kids ain't good. So we packed up our kids and moved 11 hours away to a city that we've never been to, in a state that we've never been to. No real plan, just $500, a job lined up, and determination to do something about our situation. We stayed at a regular hotel for about a month, then moved into an extended stay hotel, which are set up like studio apartments with full kitchen.
We're a family of 4 living in a hotel full-time, and I want to show you how that looks like, because I feel like people are going to be like, oh, you live in a hotel, but let me show you how we got it set up. I think you're going to love it. So first up, we have the bathroom, and it's a pretty spacious bathroom. Like, I can't touch the walls, bigger than the camper we live in, but this is the bathroom. It's really nice. Comes with a hamper. Love that. Since we are staying a long period of time, y'all are going to love this part of it. Look. We get a freaking kitchen. Look at this. I also brought my own pot because after I saw what that girl put her, you know what, in there and put it there. All you do, put your underwear where you would put the coffee grounds. You close it, you press brew, and it puts scorching hot water through it, and you got yourself a cleaner pair of underwear. We're gonna put that up. Yeah, we're not doing that. She made a whole fort out of the chairs. So this is a kitchen area, and it comes with chairs, and then she's in here. What are you doing? She made a fort, so this is the kids area. Also, there's a second bedroom, but I'm not going to show that because hubby's sleeping right now. But not bad for a family fort. We got a kitchen, we got a living room.
You know, honestly, I mean, I can respect, you know, people like this that's going to find a way out of no way. You know, hats off to them. I truly commend them. What I think I'm so tripped out about or upset is that this is what we are doing in the United States of America in 2026. That people are having to subject themselves to this type of living. When we got all of these vacant apartment buildings all over the place, vacant homes that aren't being used, a family of 4, they should be in a house of some sort with a backyard where the children can go run and play, be imaginative. They can have the space that they want. And again, everybody wants to say nobody owes you nothing or whatever. Well, that's such a stupid thing to say sometimes, because nobody asked to be here neither. Our parents was just doing some shit, you know what I'm saying? And then boom, we all popped up, and we're just trying to do the right thing, trying to make a way. And there's always these blockers or roadblocks in the way. It's always this thing, this red tape you got to go through. Oh, you can't just get an apartment. And I get it. Y'all want to keep certain elements out. That's understandable. But if I don't come off that way, you see, I work for a good company or whatever, yo, but then there's that part. You got to have a job. Again, it always circles back to a job. And this country has not lined up anything for people to do in order to continue to make money other than the ride share and things like that. And y'all trying to get AI to do that. Y'all got the Waymo cars now. So you ain't gonna really too much longer need people to do Uber and Lyft. Same thing with DoorDash and Uber Eats. Y'all gonna have robots doing that. So what are y'all lining up for people to do when there's no longer any jobs? Y'all talk about universal base income, but what good is that gonna do? All that's probably gonna do is just afford people the option to make sure their bills is paid. But what about everything else? This country is built on consumerism. So what are people going to be doing? Using Klarna and Affirm to buy everything and defaulting on that? Like, this country just doesn't make any sense sometimes. It's just ass backwards. And we got these ass backwards old farts still in office doing this. They don't have a real grasp on reality because they grew up in a time where everything was hands-on. You know what I mean?
Big bathroom, and I think this is going to be perfect.
The other thing that I want to mention is to get a hotel, you don't need no credit check. They don't need no application fee. You have never paid an application fee for a hotel. Well, at least maybe the real expensive ones, you have to do that. I don't know. The real expensive places, maybe you got to pay an application fee for that. But obviously, we're not talking about those places. If you are trying to get into a hotel, you don't have to worry about a credit check. You don't have to worry about having 2-3 times the monthly rates. They're not doing all that. It's whether you got the money or you don't. If you stay longer than 30 days, because some of these hotels, what they'll do is they'll try to kick you out or tell you need to switch rooms or, something like that because they don't want you to technically be a resident there. I think it's like after 30 days, then you could say like, this is my home. And then they have to take off like the taxes. It's some crazy stuff like that. So with that, you might have to switch rooms every now and again or move out the room and move back in or something crazy like that. For the most part, you're not having to jump through all the hoops that you would for an actual apartment. These are the type of life hacks that, especially in today's economy, we really truly do need because not everybody has the best credit history. And we could sit here and wag the finger and be like, well, you shoulda. Well, guess what? Some people didn't. And they're trying to figure it out and they're trying to make things better. And I don't personally see the benefit in wagging the finger at people that already know that they messed up. What do you want people to do? Just sit there and wallow in the fact that they messed up? Or do you want them to put boots on the ground and actually figure out how to get to the next step? It's one thing if they did something stupid and then you're telling them about it and then they're still doing that same stupid thing. Yes, absolutely. We're going to shame you for being stupid, but those folks that they messed up their credit, but they're actively trying to fix it. They're actively trying to do right. I don't see the purpose in sitting over here and saying, well, you should have. I'm sure I can go back into your past, tell you all the things you shoulda, coulda, woulda, did. And you'd get annoyed and irritated with me doing that to you. So I don't see the value in doing that. For folks that are really trying to get their stuff together, this could be a viable option for you. It's something to consider. And that's the one thing that I do want to say about having a terrible economy is that it really does bring out the creativity in folks. This is where innovation truly derives. It derives from a need and desperation. When you desperate and you're trying to figure something out, that's when a lot of innovation happens. We need to stop sleeping on the folks that have figured it out, have figured out ways to make things happen without scamming others. Obviously, I'm not talking about the scammers, okay, the spin-datters. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the ones who want to do right, who follow the law, but they've also found some ways to get through while still respecting the law, but also get their stuff together and be creative about how they do it. But I am curious to hear you guys.
I mean, the video's about to be over, but I definitely, I think that kind of adds to the lore of, hey, you're in America, and just when you think things are going bad, or you're down right now, and then boom, you end up fixing your situation, and you end up in a nice house and stuff like that. And little do people know, you were living in a hotel. You feel me? But it does get to a point where it's a bit alarming when you have this many people doing this now. You feel me? It's like, where are we going in this world? Where are we going with this country? You know what I mean?
Guys' thoughts down below. How do you feel about this whole situation? Have you ever considered living in a hotel? Have you lived in a hotel? If so, please sound off in the comment section and tell us the tea, okay? If you have some tricks, especially in this economy, I want to do more videos talking about different ways we can save money, different ways we can kind of help each other, okay? Each one teach one, ways to save money and really make things work until things get better. I want us to be good. I'm not sitting over here tooting my nose up at anybody, because we could all end up in that exact position trying to figure out what we're going to do, what our next step is. If you have any tips or tricks because you've lived in a hotel before, or you have specific hotel chains that you think are better, please let us know in the comment section down below. If you like the video, like the video. The more you interact with it, the more it gets pushed out into the algorithm. Also, hype the video if that's for you. Okay, if it's for you, it's for you. If it's not, it's not. If you're feeling a little extra generous, the link is in the description to buy your girl a coffee. Thank you guys so much, and I will see y'all with the next one.
All right, y'all. That's gonna be the end of the video. Yo, shouts out to Sandra Faye. I did react to one of her other videos. Definitely some dope content. But yeah, shout outs to those that's out here making it work, finding a way, making it shake. You feel me? It is, again, kind of not depressing, but kind of sad that people have to resort to this because they can't find an apartment. Like I said, even though we got plenty of vacancies and apartments where good, wholesome people could be living in it and really starting a nice nest egg and things like that, even with houses. But they want to keep these places empty just for the sake of, I guess, keeping them empty. Well, then if that's the case, then go ahead and start teaching kids how to build their own home. So when they get out of high school, they can start building their home to live in that they can pass on to their kids. I don't want to buy a house that you built. You feel me? Let me build my own house. So it's just weird. It's just really weird. But yo, y'all let me know what y'all think. This video been going on long enough. If you made it this far, I appreciate you. Make sure you chin check that like button. Make sure you sub to the channel and sound off in the comments section until your asses is kicked out of there. That being said, it's your boy Robbie. Till the next video, we out of here, y'all.